So I said once, I said it 50, 11 times. I need my people to educate themselves and to make sure you educate your children on, I guess, STEM. I don't know what it's called now, but definitely technology, robotic, computer technology, whether it's software engineer, computer engineer, something. Anything that you get into that you want to do out of school, hell, anything you want to do right now, research it and see where technology is taking it. Because long gone are the days that I'm gonna go get a job at the plant, I'm gonna get a job at the warehouse, work for the post office, hell, work at Walmart, whatever, move my way up or work there 20, 30 years, get a pension, get some benefits, and work for the city, whatever, and retire. Now, there's still going to be some jobs that you can do, like I was saying, like the city, maybe doctors, nurses, lawyers. There are going to be some jobs that, or careers, let me say careers, that you'll still be able to do and don't have to really worry about a robot taking your place, but you're going to have to still know technology in order to keep up with other people. Hell, even like the content creation thing, I have slowly adapted some of the technology in order to try to improve my channel a little bit at a time, finding out that I could probably improve it just like that if I, had the time and do a little more research, which I'm doing. But I mean, go from just reading articles to you guys, y'all just looking at me putting pictures on the screen to kind of keep your attention, to me actually being able to be in front of you guys, do video reviews, or being able to like read articles with y'all while y'all read along with me, and going back and forth on the screens and this, that, and the third. Having trouble coming up with ideas, Googling, GT chat, GCP, all that kind of stuff, figuring out things to come speak to y'all with, looking at videos, trying to, and then looking up information to kind of validate what's being said on the channel. I mean, it's a lot, and stuff is so instantaneous. Don't have to always look at a book that I have behind me. Don't always have to like go to the library. Don't always have to read the newspaper. Hell, my newspaper, my Wall Street journals and stuff, my Dallas Morning News, I get it on my phone, on my laptop, so I can read that stuff. Look at the videos they send. All that stuff is there. All I know, quick, fast, and hurry. So you got to stay ahead of the. You got to stay ahead and with technology. Have to, because it will leave you behind, and there's no way to catch up unless you adapt. So Amazon has a lot of robots. A lot of stuff is being automated. We know how the workers union over on the East Coast was doing everything to stop automation, which I can understand, because too much automation, too many jobs will be lost. But then you got to think about economics, which is why I probably like why the government will probably have to intervene on some of these things at some levels, because if nobody's making money, who's buying your products? Nowadays, you got to have a great credit score. So if nobody making money and they have no credit score, you can't even charge them. I mean, they have the Klarna and the Afterpay stuff, but still, you got to be getting paid somehow. So there has to be a give and take. But anyway, let's get into this video, because again, Amazon is showing you what I've been trying to warn you about all these years.
Before now, robots could only replace part of a human job, enough to make coffee or an omelet. But
I call myself investing into the flipping, putting a couple of dollars in flipping and seeing where it's going. Because I mean, hey, it's the way of the future. I remember when they first came out with the first flipping, it was about almost 10 years ago, and it flipped hamburgers. Now they got it to where it's smaller, move quicker, and it does like deep frying, like French fries and stuff. And they don't like their third robot. But the first, I remember when it came out, and they was talking about it was going to be where they were going to put it, and then they end up putting it in White Castles, and then you hear that it's in some ball stadiums, professional stadiums and stuff. So They're getting rid of, like I say, these jobs are getting rid of these manual labor. I mean, these robots are getting rid of these manual labor jobs, man. Y'all better stay informed to stay ahead.
This is Digit, a robot its makers say is ready to do what human warehouse workers do.
So they can lift about 35 pounds. The robot weighs about what a person would weigh. It can reach about the size of what a person can reach. We're really going for that kind of like OSHA regulations and requirements for the robot.
Agility Robotics is funded in part by Amazon, which is investing $1 billion in new industrial technologies. Amazon has already started testing Digit in its Seattle Robotics Research and Development Facility, potentially adding to the company's fleet of more than 750,000 robots.
Now, we say robots, don't just think of like those humanoid type robots. You're talking about, like I said, like a flippy. That's a robot. Computers that can scan and move things from side to side to different conveyors and aisles. Can put together the thing, put car parts together. That can weld and things like that. Those are robots. Even the smallest little thing can be considered robots. These robots are humanoid robots that can take your job.
Company's investors have big ambitions for them.
The fact that it can enter places that were designed for humans and solve those challenges that exist without having to rebuild the environment for automation.
And it doesn't quit.
And it doesn't quit.
They're about $250,000. So they're not inexpensive. But, over just a few years, they're worth it.
As of 2022.
Let's think about this. Let's look at the numbers. So $200,000, and you're thinking, man, that's a lot of money for a robot. So let's say, think about a warehouse worker. What do warehouse workers make? 15, 20, let's just say $20 an hour. So if a warehouse worker makes $20 an hour and they work 40 hours a week, man, let me see. Let me just do a quick calculator right quick. Where is the oh. I'm just going, I can do this faster than this. So you make $20 an hour times 40 hours a week. That's $800 a week times, let's say 52 weeks. That's $41,060 that the employee makes. Now, let's say if they get insurance. Okay. So if you have insurance, your employer is paying 83% of your insurance. So let's say if you pay $400 a month. So don't forget 41,600. So let's say you're paying $400 a month. That's a uh just a guesstimate, right? That is only what 17% of what you paying. Let's see, so plus 83%. No, that's not right. Because that's 83% of 400. So if you're paying $400, let me see. 800. Okay, let's see how we do this. 83 equals X over 100. And what did I say? 400? No, 83 equals 13. That's it. 13, 83, 400. Okay. And X. So that's 400 times. Okay, so that's 400 times, hope I'm doing this right, 83 divided by 13. So your employer is paying $1,079 plus your 600. So that's $42,679. Oh, I'm glad I'm a little bit good at math. And then they're paying 7% of your taxes. The tax rate is 15%, and they're paying half of that. So you add another 17%, which I don't feel like doing it because that was a lot of work. So man, they're paying at least like let's say you're getting paid $41,000 a year. Your employee is paying $45,000 for you, just off the rip. That's not including training. That's not including let's see, sick days, vacation time, not including time and a half. So you are making, let's just say, hey, let's just do time and a half shit. So 20 times 1.5 equals $30. And let's say you're making 10 plus times, let's say it's $30. Let's say you're doing times 10 hours a week times 52 weeks. So let's say $15,000 plus the $42,000. We're just gonna round it up. So the $57,000. So your employer is paying about $60,000 for you at a minimum every year, about every year, to keep you employed. 60,000. Like I say, not including sick time, vacation time, training, drug tests, this, that, other thing, whatever else that may call that they may have to pay. You get a robot that costs $200,000. So in 5 years, that robot is paid for itself. Just the robot, just on that alone, the robot has paid for itself in 5 years. But you're trying to work 20, 25 years. And not to mention all these employees. Now, man, I work with so many people who don't want to work nowadays. They come in, get a couple of they work a couple of weeks, get a paycheck and quit. They come in not dressed for the job. They come in always complaining, always talking about they don't want to be there, tired of the job, tired of the boss, this, that, and the third, but don't do any work. I can complain, but you sure gonna get 100% of work out of it because I understand the optics, I understand how it's supposed to go, what's supposed to be done. I'm there to do a job. If I don't like the job that much, then I just need to go find another one, right? Because there's always something to complain about in any company that you work for. So you talking about the lack of headaches. So, and if you got employees that complain, get hurt, right? Say things, do things to make other employees want to quit, and they quit, or let's say they quit and then they go work at another warehouse and they take a couple of people with them. Now you're retraining folks. You see, it's a cycle that money is always going out. Labor costs are the most expensive cost in any job that you'll go to. So how do you reduce the labor costs? Get rid of your workers. And what do you replace your workers with? Digit.
Amazon employed about 36% of warehouse workers in the U.S., a workforce that often complains about the injury risk of working to get packages to customers in 2 days or
Digit ain't gonna complain about getting hurt.
less, according to OSHA. Amazon says the safety of its employees is its top priority.
I just really feel this is Amazon's attempt to focus their attention away from those of us that have been injured and are fighting to get medical care and fair wages and safer working conditions.
Hey, business is just that. Business is about money, period. Any way to keep the money coming in and not flowing out, a business is going to do it. You live in a capitalistic society. You got to understand that. So Amazon, however many billions of dollars it's worth, they're trying to keep that money. It's sad, but hey, this is the age of change, and you got to accept that. So you can't just sit back and just cry and boo-hoo because they're doing things different. Get you a business. Start you a business, and see how long you're gonna stay in business if you just say, "Hey, I'm not gonna invest in AI. I'm not gonna use ChatGTP. I'm not gonna use drones. I'm just gonna continue to use employees." And every time I look up, they calling in sick, or they coming in late, or they staying on my clock, or they going to lunch but not clocking out. Things of that nature. They costing me money and headaches and stress. I can put these robots in. I can put this software in, let it do the work, and I can sit back and relax. So let's say one of the robots break down, because they will. Even although this thing is going back and forth and working, they're going to break down. You're going to need somebody to fix these. That's why I say get you a degree in software engineer, computer engineer, something along those lines, some kind of digital engineering degree, because you're going to need it to keep up with the world. I've seen videos where this young lady said that she said Japan is living in 2050. No, Japan's not living in 2050. We are the ones that are behind in this country. Japan got, say, clean sidewalks. They got these robots going up and down the street, delivering stuff, working. Things are just clean. They do things differently. We're the ones who still trying to hold on to the American dream, the American job, cold jobs, refinery jobs, warehouse jobs where people get hurt and think that someone owes something. Employers are not trying to be your friends. They're here to make money.
Wish they would spend their money in just making it a safer place to work for the rest of us, those of us that need jobs and need a paycheck, rather than coming up with technology that could push some of us out the door.
Digit, company backers say, changes the game for any logistics company.
And see if your job reimburse you for education. Because I'm sure Amazon, if you went to school to, for, like I said, some kind of engineering, software degree, computer degree, I'm sure they would reimburse you. Now you're going to have to come out of pocket to do it, which means you're going to have to live below your means, give up your Newport and your weed habit and your Black and Mild habit. Going to have to get by with your own lashes, drink you some milk so your nails will grow stronger. Do your own hair for a little while. Cut your own hair. I've been cutting my own hair since high school, since 94, 93, 94. So miss me with any of those kind of statements rebuttals you want to make. And, live. I work on my own cars. Work on my own stuff in my own house when I can. I mean, it's things you got to do, but instead of just wasting money. But anyway, you got to live below your means, move back in with your mama and your daddy if you need to. But go to school, sacrifice for a couple of years so you can live how you want to live for the rest of your life. If you're not willing to do that, then you can't complain because of Amazon's robot revolution.
Robot doesn't need to go home and see his family, doesn't need healthcare benefits, doesn't need retraining when you change the process and how it works, and you don't have to worry about turnover and injuries and those types of things.
So considering all those things, $250,000 is sort of a bargain.
It kind of pays for itself if you think of it as 2 or 3 shifts.
But what does it mean for workers?
That's a new thing. Hell yeah. So if the warehouse open 24 hours, or if you got like 3 shifts, I was just doing if you work like a double. I mean, just a single shift, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Shoot, I ain't thinking about if you work 10 hours a day, 10-hour shifts, and they ask you to work a couple hours overtime. If they ask you to work 2 shifts, work a double, working a hot 16. I know we do like in the nursing and healthcare field. Shoot, that's just add, like that's overtime and wearing your body out. Seen too many nurses out there working in their 70s, 80s, in the 80s. Bad hips, bad knees, all kind of replacement surgeries and stuff. Shoot, I ain't think about that, man. Better get your butt back in school. So you get you a certification somewhere just to get started, just to get your foot in the door and then take off from there. Man, please.
Robot does the job.
I don't think we can expect the free market to ensure that those workers are going to land in good quality jobs. We are going to need some kind of intervention. It is often necessary for government to intervene, particularly with respect to job training. Employers very rarely take on the responsibility for training workers who are not going to remain in that employer's workplace.
Agility is also planning to open RoboFab, a soon-to-be 70,000 square foot facility in Salem, Oregon, with the potential to pump out 10,000 bots a year.
Just in case you were thinking of investing in Agility Robotics, it's a private company. But you do have companies like, let me see, I had it wrote down here. No. Where the heck did I have? Oh, yeah. UB-Tech, NVIDIA, that's a big company now that's all over the news with their software stuff. And what's the other one called? Boston Dynamics. Good Lord. Boston Dynamics. I think it's the one that had the robot that blew up old boy at the college down here in Texas. I mean, Dallas, a couple years back. No, and they got the robot. I know they got the robot dogs and stuff. I believe Boston Dynamics. But yeah, you might want to look into some of them companies to invest in, or invest in yourself and be able to work for them. And I don't know why
Right.
somebody want to work in a freaking warehouse for the rest of their life anyway. I don't understand that. I'm gonna tell you, I worked in a warehouse for like 10 to 13 years. And one day I just looked around and saw older guys, older women, been there forever. A couple of my friends got sick, hurt. A couple of them died, got illnesses, left, come back. It was, skin and bones damn near compared to what they looked like at first. And then end up dying, passing away a few months later. I think they had like maybe pneumonia or something, respiratory issue, heart issues. One of them was young. One was like in the early 30s. Another guy was like maybe his 40s, maybe 50s. And I mean, I've seen guys in their 60s, 70s hit these forklifts. And I said to myself, I am not going to work in a warehouse for the rest of my life. And I set out, I set out and I just made sure it didn't happen. Ended up in nursing. And now I'm saying I'm not going to be in nursing for the rest of my life. And so now I'm doing things to try to, excuse me, doing things to try to make sure I'm out of that by the time I'm 70 years old. You cannot stay stagnant. You cannot look. Now, I ain't going to sit there and say to retire and do nothing, because that's not what the human body was made to do. We're made to move around and do work. It's just certain things that we just can't do for the rest of our life. Like, man, like I said, warehousing is just not one of them. So again, do something to improve yourself. You should be, as a human, you should be, as a man, as a woman, as a mother, father, you should be trying to do things to improve your life every day anyway.
I think now Digit is multi-purpose in that we come in and program the same robot with no changes to do a bunch of different workflows in a relatively constrained set of environments. Rapidly it's going to start doing more and more things in the world.
NBC News tech correspondent Jake Ward joins me now on set. So Jake, fascinating, crazy, maybe a little scary. I mean, it sounds like we're talking about not just using something to help humans do their jobs, but just replacing it entirely. Could this be a new normal on a large scale?
I mean, this is the thing, right? As a tech correspondent for years, I've had companies tell me, well, this technology is for augmenting a human or making a human's job a little bit easier. In this case, it is truly, right, out and out there to replace a human worker. And there are times, when you hear people say, well, we're going to replace, let's say I've visited, for instance, a recycling facility where they want to replace the workers there who have to work in a very loud, very dangerous, very smelly environment for minimum wage. That's a job where you could maybe argue that someone doesn't want that job. But Amazon warehouse workers, that's one of the largest employers in America. People really go for that job. And so, we're really, I think, at this sort of historic turning point where suddenly it's no longer the case of when could technology replace a set of jobs, but this is truly something that's built to do that.
So what would that mean for society? And what conversation should we be having in a capitalist society?
I know we have a Amazon warehouse not too far from here. I know I want to say Lancaster or DeSoto, they have like a couple of Walmart distribution centers, pretty near, fully automated, both of them. Amazon down the street. They got a Walgreens down the street warehouse. So you have warehouses here, but it's going to automation. The ones they built, the Walmarts and the Amazons, automations. That's what they're going to. You got a lot of employees. They go in there. They get the young ones. Think about it, just like a sports team. You get the young folk. You want to hire young people to work because you can shape, you can mold them, you can get them to work if you can get them to work. Because nowadays, a lot of these youngins don't want to work. They complain and they quit. They don't come to work no more. But you're never on time. You're never back from break on time, and you always leave as soon as it's time to clock out, without even with no hesitation. But you want to be paid, you want to be compensated for the work that you think that you did, but you really ain't done that much work. You're just fooling yourself. But anyway, it's all going to automation, and you have to pay attention to that. It's all going to automation. And I think about the young people that I know that work at these warehouses. And I'm like, man, 5 years from now, you won't have these jobs available for you. I know in the healthcare field, let's say like a CNA, the problem with that job. Now, I'm gonna say like this: CNA jobs, nursing jobs. I think it's gonna take a lot longer for robots to. I don't think they can ever take over those fields because you got to have a hand touch, especially like let's say like in nursing homes when you have to clean up people. You know, got people need their butt wiped. You got to feed people. You got to have some kind of human touch. You have to. Because grown folks ain't gonna let no robot just touch them and manhandle them like they want to. And maybe one day the AI technology could be so great that the robots start having feelings and then understanding how to do that. But for right now, we're safe. Right next, so I wouldn't be too concerned about that right now. But still, I would still, again, you don't want to be doing that for the rest of your life. Because all they have to do is find one or two things that you do that they can replace with a robot, and that'll get one of you, either you or one of your coworkers out of there. That's just how it is. Like you got people working in the kitchen. If I can get robots to cook the foods and put them on trays and push them out to the dining area, all I need is one person or two maybe to hand the food out. Hell, I worked at was it UT Southwestern like years ago, and they brought this is years ago. They brought in these robots that take food to the floors. They get on the elevator themselves and they take the food up to the floors and they sit there and wait until you take the food out. Keeps the food hot or keeps the food cold or whatever. And then once you get done the trays, put the trays back in there. Then you program the robot and it'll take it right back to the kitchen. This was like almost 10 years ago when this was going on. And when those robots are on the elevator, everybody has to get off. Crazy, ain't it? But they usually use the back elevators. But they have precedence over everybody in the hospital because they can't move. Whatever the case may be, they are just programmed to get on and go to the floor they're supposed to go to and do what they have to do. With that means we can cut some of the kitchen staff and use some of the kitchen staff to do more other jobs that they didn't do at first because now a lot of their time that they used and wasted to go to these floors don't need to do it no more. Now I got something else for you to do. This is here. This is here. This has been here. And technology changes so fast. It changes so fast that you just sit back and act like you safe with the job that you have. Like I say, you better research and look and see in the job that you have or the job that you want, the careers you want, where is technology taking that field?
Where the industry trade is controlled by private owners for profit. What does this mean for the little guy?
Right. I mean, it is literally economics 101 gets torn in half when suddenly you have to think about evaluating human beings and our worth as something more than just our productivity, our ability to carry a 35-pound object and put it up on a shelf. Right. That used to be how you got paid. Now, if another thing can do that, you don't get paid for that anymore. I don't know that we have an answer in Western society for what that is. And that's why, of course, you have that former Biden labor advisor there saying government intervention may be necessary. He's talking about doing it for job training, but we may have to do it for just the whole equation of what you and I are worth in a society where robots can do the jobs for us.
Fascinating stuff. So much to watch in the months and years to come.
Thanks for watching. Stay on.
Well, yeah, so hey, that's where it's come to, and that's where it's going to. Said it before, say it again. Hey, do I think my career is safe as nursing? I think the thing that'll get me out of my job faster is if I lose my license. I do something to lose my license. That's it's gonna be something that I do. Nothing like what a robot can do. But in the future, who knows? Who knows? But I'm always looking at the future and the technology to see where it's going. Hell, even like the machines that we use at our clinic, they said them machines are old. They do break down. Like I said, robots do break down. Machines do tear up if they're not managed and handled right and maintenance right. They will break down a lot quicker. I know a lot quicker than you think. But eventually anything will tear up. How long it'll take, I don't know. So talk about these robots and $200,000. If they can last 20 years, that's great. I mean, that 10 years at least, that'd be great. 20 years, that'd be perfect. Like I said, I mean, where I work, the dialysis machines, they say all machines are old, but in reality, they're not really old. They just, you keep something moving constantly. Like I say, eventually it's gonna wear out. So now, we're looking for new machines. They got other clinics that got newer machines. Say it like this. Let me give you an example in conclusion. We got biomeds that fix the machines. Some of our techs also in the morning before the clinic open, they have to mix the water, mix the solution that's going to go into the machines, into the patient's bodies and stuff to pull, to pull the fluid out, to pull the urine out, the waste out, to clean their blood. Staff has to be there at least an hour, hour and a half before everybody else to get started. One person to get started. Now they have these machines to where instead of mixing this bicarb, and if you don't know what it is, I might talk about another video or just look it up. These bicarbonate, instead of mixing like big bags of bicarbonate in a big tub, you have these machines where you got bicarb in like a little container, about this big. And some got like some of the bicarb come in a bag, but some of them come in like a canister about that big, and you stick it on the machine. Now you don't have to be back there. Now nobody has to be in the back an hour, hour and a half before everybody else to mix it. That's 5 to 8.5, 10 hours a week that you're saving in the beginning. And then in the end, you ain't got to rinse the tank out. You ain't got to drain it. That's another couple of hours so in the evening. So you got anywhere from 10 to 20 hours that the company is going to save on labor cost just with those little bags. You see what I'm saying? So what you can do, you got people coming in later. They're not working as much. Now I can say, now you're saving time, maybe some overtime hours, put money back in your pocket, into the employer's pocket. It may take a while to get that money back for those machines, but once it evens out, everything after that is money in the bank. That's what, like I said, that's just one small example of how companies can cut labor costs. It's all about labor costs, y'all. Just get yourself ready because change is here. Either keep up with the technology or you'll be doing CNA jobs and tech jobs in a hospital because manual labor will be labor that requires human contact. Everybody's not made to clean up after somebody grown. Everybody's not made to feed grown people. Everyone is not made to be in prison because when you have no jobs, sometimes you do some drastic things to get by, whether people agree with it or not. So my advice to you, that like it has been for the last few years, go to school, learn something in technology, and stay ahead of the curve because you can't just only think about yourself. You got to think about your kids and your grandkids, and they watching you and they depending on you to teach them what to do in life. So when they get to become adults, they'll have it in them to get out there and do the work. But anyway, that's all I got for this story. Tell me what you think. Leave your comments below to share it with the world. I want to thank y'all for watching. But don't forget, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those 4 things cost you nothing but a couple of minutes out your day, but it means the world to us. If you want to support monetarily, you can always do super thanks, super chats, or click on the links in the description box below. You can support that way. Don't forget to go to marlonmorale.com. That's marlonmorale.com. We'll get 10% off your first purchase. Or click in the shop. Click the shop button below this video and get your products there. And with that being said, I'll leave you in peace. and I'll see you on the other side.